What is the difference between Entity Framework Core and Entity Framework 6? Entity Framework 6 Entity Framework 6 is an older version and which only works with the .NET framework. It supports the Windows only, not a cross platform. Entity Framework 6 has EDMX designer support, and which means we can design the entities and the relationships visually inside Visual Studio, and Entity Framework generates the corresponding classes and mappings. Entity Framework supports the code first and database first approaches, but EF Core performance is slower because it relies on snapshots and proxies for change tracking and lazy loading. In an entity framework, lazy loading is built in by default. So coming to the Entity Framework Core is completely rewritten version of Entity Framework and designed for modern applications. Works on the .NET Core and .NET 6, .NET 7, .NET 8 plus cross-platform, and in Entity Framework Core there is no EDMX support, so it technically supports only code first. But if we already have a database, we can still scaffold entity classes and DB contexts from the database using this scaffold DB context or .NET EF DB context scaffold command. So EF core is code first only with the reverse engineering as an option. EF core faster and lightweight tracking and no proxies unless explicitly enabled. Supports advanced features like shadow properties, batching, global querying filter, global query filters, and own types, etc. Lazy loading available but requires an extra package, third-party packages. So Entity Framework Core 6 only works with the .NET framework, Windows only, and works on the .NET Core and cross-platform, built on top of the object context and DB context, completely rewritten from the scratch. There is EDMX file support. EDMX support, yes, supports the designer based EDMX, and there is no EDMX, only fluent API and data annotations there. Code first and database first both are supported. Only code first and reverse engineering is supported. Manual or automatic migrations via designer. Code-based migrations using the CLI and package manager. Performance is slower due to the tracking and proxies. Performance is faster, lightweight, and optimized. Link queue support is good but with a some limitation. And link queue support improved. Link queue transactions more flexible. Change tracking is available but heavier, more efficient and lightweight tracking for Entity Framework Core. Lazy loading is built in with the proxies. Lazy loading available but needs the third-party frameworks. Shadow properties is not supported. Shadow properties are supported. Batching is not supported. Send the multiple operations in a single round trip. And testing supported, limited due to the tight coupling, and better support for mock and unit testing. Mainly SQL Server supports the mainly SQL Server. Wide support SQL Server and Post SQL Server and SQLite, and cloud and mobile friendly, not ideal, suitable for modern and cloud native apps. EF6 is a stable and good for older version of .NET Framework projects. While EF Core is the feature, it cross-like platform actively developed and designed for cloud and modern applications.